there's guys where it's like, yeah, I've done a, there's a comma and three zeros. There's like numbers, there's O's after that check, after that. So I'm like, well, I've been doing the same level of work too. Right. And I believe I deserve that same attention to, or appreciation for my work.
Right.
And learning how to word it, how to say it.
Yeah.
Just saying, I want this much.
Yeah.
When you say that number out loud
to
somebody else, you're scared though.
Yeah,
like
you're scared
to
too,
say that word, like it takes so much out of
Yeah.
you to be able to say, this is what I'm worth.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah. And not second guess it. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Walk with Drew. My name is Drew Moves On. Thank you guys for joining me. As I say every single episode, I say I have a special guest, but this is like my first, I want to say it's like my first real like artist. Like I have art, I've talked to artists and musicians of like other disciplines, but this is like a artist like really with the painting and the drawing and the animation, all this stuff. Like he's like really with his name is Josh Henderson. Josh, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you coming through. So my first question is, so your social media, you go about what is Relax.
Yeah.
Can you talk about go into a little bit of detail about like where the name Relax came from?
So it started a while ago, like almost like 15 years ago, probably. I was in school, and a few of my friends, we were like just drawing around town, like just drawing on like anything we find.
Okay.
And then I started to make my own character behind it, and then the character, he was like this childlike vibe. So I tried to, keep that going in my work. And the words behind it was like chill. And I at one point I wanted to get into graffiti, and I started like making my own hand styles. So you can see like in my signatures, there's some reflection of some like street culture in there, like the graffiti lifestyle or whatever. But I just hadn't really tapped into it like I wanted to.
Yeah.
So like shortly after, like when I was like tagging things, I was writing the word chill, but then I wanted to take it and turn it into a brand.
Okay.
And I was like, how can I connect with people? Like, how do I make that connection physically where I give somebody something that they can remember, something that they can connect with or attach to, that they can remember. So I started to think of turning it into a brand. And I thought about like nostalgia and taking all the feelings of like I look at the household name brands like the Coca-Cola, like all those names. And so I made that design. It almost looks like a bottle cap at first, that original design. Yeah. If you've seen on some of my older merch, you look back and check on that, and it reflects that idea. So it's the whole concept of the word chill was like, it's just art. That was like the campaign at first, but then I wanted to turn it into a brand. And so that's how it came about. It was a lot behind just wanting to do graffiti work. Okay. Yeah.
So can you talk about a little bit about how you got your start in art? Like when did you first started drawing all that stuff?
It's like as far back as I can remember, like elementary school.
Okay.
And every time that I think about my first encounter with knowing that I could draw for real was like in elementary school. We was just drawing Pokemon cards and stuff, and everybody saw it and was like, "Yo, this is it looks just like the card." And I was like, "No, no. I mean, it's all right." And I looked at other people's work, not to compare, but like they were showing me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I am." And then my mom was always showing me off, like showing off my work or just like hyping me up. I thought. Yeah. I used to think for a while I was like, oh yeah, my baby's smart. He talented, but it's really it's no gas. Like she really saw what was in me, and she was cultivating that from the beginning. Right. So even then she was giving me Legos and like sketch pads like for Christmas or whatever whatever she could give me. Yeah. And it was like cultivating that spirit. Yeah.
So your parents were backing you from the jump.
From the jump, like I couldn't complain about that. Like I know in the beginning my mom was like, I think you could be an architect. And she wasn't far off, because eventually, like later down the line, I ended up working on just like customizing like houses as far as like ideas for like exterior designs and stuff.
Oh, word. Okay.
And that was like a cool thing.
And did you go to school for art at all, or is this all self-taught?
Well, I didn't go to any like special school. I took regular art classes. I didn't take any advanced classes. I just I just went for it, and part of me wanted to like hold back a little bit, because I didn't want it to be, I didn't want it to not be fun anymore. So I just wanted to be something that I enjoyed, and I mean that I couldn't avoid that, because even later on, just like creating art, and we'll talk about that more probably, but just later on down the line, it was some things that discouraged me that kept me from like really enjoying the things that I loved, and then it's just like a bittersweet relationship sometimes.
Yeah. Now talk about that though, because like a lot of times, like when you're doing what you love and you're making money off of it, it's hard trying to separate the two, because it's like it's something that I love, but now I'm getting paid and I got to keep the, you know what I'm saying, like keep the bills paid and stuff like that. Yeah, off of it.
So I think, and Mariah can like attest for this. She was around when I was like pulling my hair out over just doing some design work. I had currently, at the time, I was working on this magazine, and I was doing the whole thing myself. So I didn't realize the scope of that project, but it was like, it was very ambitious, and it just became overwhelming because the project took like years to make, and we were getting nowhere with it. But even though like I was growing and I was learning stuff along the way, it made me want to just quit. And not art altogether, but like just the graphic design side of things. And I still have like a weird place for that right now. It's still like a little bit extra right now. I'm like, I want to step back from that and kind of refocus what I really want to do. Because graphic design originally started as even like painting. Painting kind of started as a secondary thing for me. Illustration is really like the primary
what you deal with.
Thing that I'm like interested in. But animation and illustration that was my focus, and I went to school for it. But I picked up like graphic design along the way. We signed a position to get the classes into my school, and we got new professors and everything, and so we were learning new art direction and just new people, and it was a whole regime change. So it was great because we were running into those kind of people, but it was too late to like officially major in that when I was in school. So I know it sounds like it's all over the place, but it's like these, you know what I'm saying? It's so many different pieces that just kind of reminded me of like why I did them. And then, but it was like another reason of me not necessarily knowing that I was great at design, but like other people like seeing my progress along the way and noticing, and then other clients coming to me. And that's really where my graphic design thing started from. It started originally in school, and people were coming to me for like the gallery with A&T. A&T is where I came from. So the student gallery, they kind of did group shows. And they need a lot of like what do you call it, like the stationery and stuff for promoting those events and collaborating with like Guilford County and all this stuff. So
you've been doing this for a minute.
I just been in it for a minute, and it's like the people that were coming to me for it, it was like family, it was friends. It got to a point where I didn't have to ask for it anymore, and that was a blessing. So just coming from that point, like coming into college and then finding people that want to work with me, and then like clients even in between and coming out of it, it was good. But at a point I realized I had to go back and remember like what I really came here for. And so a lot of it was the illustration based stuff, and that's when I started infusing into the Relax brand. So it just came back to me finding my roots again, and what gave me passion in the first place. And that's the whole message behind Relax, is like find your thing, like find your zen or whatever you call it, you know. What's that moment, you know, when you working on something that you like to do. You got the music playing in the back, the album done finished. There's no more music playing, but you still working and you in the zone. That's Relax. Like that's that point in between. So it's about passion with, you know, you acting on something. And you following through with what you want to do the most.
So how would you describe your upbringing with like, and how you kind of infuse that into your art?
So again, I'm very nostalgic. So I use that, you know, paired with a little bit of gratitude, just because this is very powerful, and it just reminds me to be humble and to just not forget where I came from. It gives me a sense of pride, like whether I'm, you know, just being prideful about being on the west side of Charlotte, like where I grew up. There's so many like milestones and landmarks that I can attest to me becoming the man I am today. So just having a sense of pride in where I'm from and being a black man. So it's being different, being weird, growing up as an outcast in school. Like, and sometimes that was self-inflicted because, as you're being different, like you're a weird alternative kid in school, like it makes you feel like, nobody's really on the same page or, so in a way, I was kind of getting out of my shell and everything and not being so distant. And the more I started to go around a lot of people, be around a lot of black people, like in A&T, I was around a lot of people like myself. And it just kind of grew from there. So it has a lot to do with finding your place and, being okay with, this is the type of person I am. As far as like your interests, no guilty pleasures. Like this is what I'm into, and I know that somebody's gonna like what I create.
Right. And that's good. It's important. It's like also like being bold too about like what it is that you're into, because then people flock after that too. Reason why I asked that question too is because I see like an anime influence a lot too.
Oh yeah, so, it's heavy. Yeah. So as I got back home from school, the first thing I did was not homework. It was watching Cartoon Network. It was Tsunami. It was all those cartoons because I found influence in the people that were in the shows. Like you could go back and watch Hey Arnold and you could learn a life lesson. Yeah. You could watch any show like or Dragon Ball, whatever. There's certain people in there that not everybody has like an influential or like a thing you can look up to. But there's a few characters where I was like, I want to be like this person because he's calm and collected under pressure. He knows how to think his way out of a situation, even though he doesn't use his hands all the time. Yeah. When he thinks through something, he can do whatever he wants.
And he was getting that type of revelation as a kid or as
a kid, I was like, I like him.
So like, that's a cool kid. Like Gerald, I'm like, oh, that's a cool kid. I like him. Like I wouldn't, like I don't think I was thinking like that deep, and nothing wrong with that. I was thinking, yeah.
But that's just where I was. I think my mom would always tell me like I would sometimes say stuff that made adults like look back like what you know about that, or it was just an early thing.
So if you could put some words behind to describe your art, what are some words that you would use besides relax?
Right. So some people have said words like an abstract fantasy.
Okay. That's what I would say too.
It's like. And abstract, sometimes people see like just shapes and like non-subjective things, the things that you can't make out. But abstraction has different forms, and it's like it's like a organized chaos. It's a collage. Sometimes it's very conceptual. Like you think about concept art of a grand like landscape, and that's a lot of my origins too. I drew a lot of landscape. So that's where I started. I was drawing like, nature, because that just is big and it's important to me. It's something that I appreciate. Even if I'm driving in my car, I'll get caught at the light, like looking over, just looking at how beautiful the day is.
You like being outside. I don't like being outside.
Well, look, listen, I appreciate outside, what it is sometimes, because listen, like I like a good hike here and there, but when it get involve a lot of bugs and animals and stuff, I'm gonna pet it from a distance, like, oh, okay.
Oh, so you don't like dogs too? So you don't
but I like dogs. I'm talking about like other stuff. Okay. I gotta warm up to that kind of stuff, but I do appreciate nature. In certain levels too.
Was riding with me. About to say, we don't like nature either. Like I like going outside.
It's like here, I'm stepping over the threshold, so my foot is one in and out. Like being in love with nature, so I'm getting adjusted.
I like going for like those like cool walks in the morning and stuff like that.
That's perfect.
But like after that, like just being outside all the time, like I don't want. It's bugs out here, man. Like I don't even like people joking. I'm like I don't like doing yard work. Like
I'm not gonna lie. I pay to get my grass cut.
See, I like this guy. I like him.
Just pay to get your grass cut if you don't want to do it.
You don't want to do it. I like.
And it's a black man too, so I'm just trying to put money in somebody else's pocket.
Right, I feel that. So could you talk about your journey as an artist? We were talking about earlier in terms of things that you wanted to do and things that you've been doing. Talk about just your journey as an artist and the struggles that you've kind of had to go get through to get to the point where you're at now.
So again, like a lot of things that happened when I was a kid, it was rooted in just me finding myself and being more comfortable in my own skin. Just like getting up to that point to where I am today, it took a lot of change within. And that is a lot what I was pushing, even in my work, in my brand. It's a lot of internal struggle. It's a lot of combating and learning how to handle the things that you struggle with on a day-to-day basis, whether it's you not feeling confident in yourself or you not feeling like up to the task, to the things that you've been called to do, or just anything like that. And I guess, and what else were you asking about that? It was you were saying
the struggles artists really kind of go through. Like,
yeah. So everyday stuff. I mean, even just trying to just pay your bills on a regular. Just kind of trying to have the right pricing behind your work, and then matching that with like what your needs are.
Yeah.
And I think there's a struggle in that because artists can almost do anything. Like you ask them, I want a Cirque du Soleil style, event with streamers, and I want a bounce house, and I want all this crazy stuff. You can think of the most outrageous stuff, and most artists will be like, nah, we can figure something out, kind of thing. Like their first reaction might not be, well, what are you talking about? It's they think of the things that other people kind of avoid, like look over.
Right.
So, just like the whole deal with pricing and everything, that was another struggle. Is
talk about that too. I understand that
those prices are real. Like it took so much motivation and so much strength, and it took so much out of me to get to that point where I was like raising my prices. And even now, it's like people that I know that I'm close with that they're like, I don't know if I can do that right now, like, or I just can't do that. And that's understandable because everybody has a different thing. But like when I tell you, for the longest time, like I have been given the homie price, the regular price for years. Like I mean, it felt like almost like 18 years of where I'm just doing I got my rate.
Yeah.
But the more I started doing all this other stuff, I'm like listening to people that I look up to, or people that I admire their work or their hustle. They've been doing stuff on a whole nother level. Even my own mentors, there's guys where it's like, I've done there's a comma and three zeros. There's like numbers, there's O's after that check, after that. So I'm like, well, I've been doing the same level of work too. Right. And I believe I deserve that same attention to, or appreciation for my work.
Right.
And learning how to word it, how to say it.
Yeah.
Just saying, I want this much.
Yeah.
When you say that number out loud
they get
to somebody else, you're scared though.
Yeah,
like
you're scared
to
too,
say that word, like it takes so much out of
Yeah.
you to be able to say, this is what I'm worth.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah. And not second guess it.
So that's like a big thing I know that a lot of artists deal with.
Yeah. Question for you. Do you want to create high quality content, but you don't have the resources to do so? My name is Drew Muzan, the founder of That's Genius Media, and I want to help you accomplish your goal. I started here, and I'm currently here. So I know what it's like to be without the resources to be able to create that dope content. I'm looking for small business owners and content creators looking to get their start creating content. I have 5+ years of content creation experience, and I have the high quality equipment that you need in order to accomplish your goal. So I want you to hit my email below, and let's get started on your genius idea today. Peace.
And then there's sometimes for leverage, like where you meet people in the middle, but people sometimes don't give you enough. Like you'll say, you hit them with the, what's your budget? And everybody's kind of partial to that. So, when you give them the numbers, then you got to be able to, if they don't, you have to be okay with them saying no, and then you move on to the next person. So, or, are you able to, bend a little bit?
Yeah.
That, and then just finding the right group to connect with, like people like Dup and Swat. That's honestly where my origins start in Charlotte. Specifically,
a lot of people,
when I talk early, like 13, 14, I did my first event, and it was incredible. Like I didn't, it was so many things that's falling into place for that to happen. Like when I tell you, we packed out the whole spot, and
you said 14?
Yeah, 2014.
Oh, 2014. I thought you were like 14 years old.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
no,
2014. Yeah, okay.
But I think I was selling work around that time too, but it was like small. That's when I started getting my entrepreneur spirit. Like my parents, my brother, like everybody in my family, we're very business oriented. Okay. So I learned what I can from them. Yeah. My mom was in financial services. My brother's in real estate. Okay. My dad was doing the same thing with my mom in business. My sister, she does hair. And everybody has something, and it's awesome to be around those kind of people that. That kind of instilled that to me. So I was like, okay, you want to see Mickey Mouse? Then I got 6th grade or 7th grade. I was like, black and white. You got this much, and then a little bit extra color. Yeah. So it was cool to have that early start.
Yeah. So can you talk about? You said mentors earlier with the text. Can you talk about some of your influences within your art?
So starting on a local level, you got people like Brian Wilson. We met in church. He's actually in Charlotte as well. He's he basically is a amazing painter, great teacher as well. Yeah. He's I think he still teaches at Northwest School of the Arts.
Okay. Did you go to Northwest School of the Arts?
No. Everybody that I know went to Northwest.
That's what I'm trying to.
Part of me would now. I wish I went. Because,
I wish I would have went to high school. I didn't know that was possible.
I was holding myself back.
Yeah, I didn't know that was possible.
Took that art to the next level early on,
right?
Instead of going through some of the pitfalls and stuff. But Brian Wilson, like John Harrison Jr.
Okay.
Even just when it comes to just making canvas or anything like handy, he's got that down. Marcus Kaiser.
Okay.
He's the very design savvy. He's the one that when I start seeing him do like major projects, he put that in perspective about, you don't have to make pennies off your art.
Facts.
So those guys, a big thing for me was a guy named Buff Monster. He's a graffiti artist. So it was like that origin behind that too. And then he turned that into like his characters and everything. Okay. He has his own characters. So original art, he has these vibrant, crazy bright colors, just seeing that, I was drawn to it. And then meeting him, I went to California. I lived out there for a little bit. And I took, me and my friend, we drove out to Culver City in California. That's where the art district was.
Okay.
And all the big names had like a show together. And he was there. And when I got to see him and talk to him, and I just showed him my work, he was like, "This is clean." And I said,
like, where am I? Like,
me. So, that was the one person out of many people I met that I wasn't so starstruck. Like I was nervous, but when I spoke to him and I showed him my work and he gave me that confirmation, it just did everything for me. And I was already in transition of like the style that I have today. Yeah. It came from a lot of struggle, a lot of just being desperate of finding my own voice through my work. Yeah.
Can you had mentioned, you said your first show. I don't know if you said it was your first, but 2013.
It was an early show. It was close to the same time.
Can you talk about just like that feeling of selling your first piece of work or your first art show? Like what describe that feeling and what did you learn in those moments?
Okay. So first show, I remember my best friend Alex. We grew up together, went to middle school together, and then we're just friends ever since. He came with me. I didn't have a car at the time. He drove me out to neighborhood theater, and that's actually where I'm going tonight. So it's kind of full circle kind of thing. It's wild. But first show was in neighborhood theater. It was something by Lonnie Blakeney, if I'm saying her name right. She does Radio Rehab. And I don't know if she still does it, but Radio Rehab was like a hip hop influence event. Yeah. And I was doing that at the time. That was my first event where I vended and sold like pieces of artwork. I had my original stuff out there. I had a few paintings on the easel. I still got the picture. I gotta find it, but I had a lot less hair. Yeah. And I was a little bit smaller.
I seen some pictures you posted in the past. I'm like, you used to have a high top, right?
Yeah. I had the high top. That was a fun moment. And that was also me in transition, like just being more comfortable with myself. Like I was afraid to do anything with my hair at all. Yeah. So that was me like kind of, okay, I'm growing a little bit. Yeah. I had a fro when I was little and that was cool. I was like, I just want to get a fro. Everybody thought, braids was the thing back then. Yeah. It's like, you gonna get braids? And I was like, nah, I just want a fro. I just want to grow my hair out. I like it, Yeah. And then I got into later I got back into that and then I got the box and then got the little juice cut, and then I got the twist, and I went to a concert shaking my little baby dreads,
I'm
but
to grow my hair takes forever to grow.
Yeah, mine grow. It just keeps growing. I can't stop it. I was supposed to get a retwist a long time ago. Yeah, but we here. But I just and that was a part of me getting more comfortable with myself. So it was like, oh, let me style my hair now. Let me get somebody to Yeah, so
put some color in there.
Yeah. I want to. I've thought about it, but I haven't done that yet. I'm almost there. I'm like, maybe I should. I want to look like hello fellow youth kind of sounding guy. I don't want to be that dude that that's an older dude, but he trying to be.
Yeah. How old are you? If you don't mind me
I'm 31.
Oh, ain't that old. I'm 28. I ain't that old.
Man. Yeah, we in there.
Yeah, I'm getting my hair dyed. My birthday's in like a couple weeks. I it's like brown now, but I'm getting it red.
Cool. Yeah.
Going back to red like I used to.
I'm thinking about a little brown or something, like some kind of like darker brown.
That's how I started. It started with brown.
And then you starting to get brighter. You just going up like, on
okay,
up.
Yeah, I'm never going blonde though. I'm never. I unless I get rich and get some money, I might go blonde.
Oh yeah, and then you know you have all these life-changing experiences, and you know you on the news, you on the cover of People magazine, Time, and they're like, you know. Yeah, you gotta go through some heartbreak.
He's speaking.
It's coming. You know?
So there's one piece. So all the crazy pieces that he does, they're wild, colorful thing, and just out of here. And that's what I'm attracted to about art. Like I don't really like the type of art. It's like I can art off the back, like okay, that's an apple, that's an orange, that's just simple. Oh, it's a house on the prairie. Like that's not what attracts me. Like bright, vibrant colors. Like my favorite color is like hot tennis ball yellow. Like that's my favorite color.
That's like, you know, I'm a fan of green. So it's like green, yellow, and it's in there. So I like that.
So that's I'm a fan. That's my favorite color. So when I seen your work, I'm like, okay, this is
look, I got the
that's my favorite. Literally, that's my favorite color. I have like a long sleeve shirt that's like that color. Like literally. Like,
look, it's necessary.
Yeah, like I love that color. So like when I seen your work, I'm like, okay, it's like it's stupid bright, it's colorful. Yeah. But I'm gonna post this on the screen for you guys to see. But if you could just describe like how long like this took you to make.
Okay, so I think that was from this year too. I created this for the show. Is it called Local Street? It was in Mint Museum this earlier this spring, I think. Yeah. With Carla, she put a lot of that show together. She's dope, and that was a show where I wanted to just show people a side that they may have forgotten about or just may have seen for an instant. That's like a part of a larger series, so. As I was making it, getting prepared for the show, it took about, just for the first one, there's another one before that I have that's similar in like context or whatever. It was actually bigger, but I feel like that one was quicker. No. Excuse me. I want to say, so the first one took a while, and then maybe like 5 hours max, honestly.
Like straight out? Like you took breaks in between? Or like...
I think I usually take breaks in between. When I started up, sometimes I'll draw on paper first. Okay. And then I'll project things on canvas because a lot of times, like unless I'm like live painting, then I'll just rough it out because I know it's gonna be a one-off kind of thing. But if I know it's like a heavy detail illustration that I want it to be exactly right and I'm meticulous about, or I'm like very just, I need it to be a certain way, then I'll just go ahead and do a very finished, polished illustration, like black and white, and then I'll project, and then I'll do the color. So I do it in steps. Okay. And I give myself time because I gotta hype myself up too. This is a very emotionally straining thing.
Yeah, talk about that. Like, so was this original? This was like straight out of your head?
Yeah. So I drew this. Actually, I drew those like 6 years ago. So I was sitting on that for a minute.
You said how many years ago?
Yeah, like almost like 6 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I said 2013-ish, 14.
Yeah, this one is wild.
So I remember I was on a job that I did not like. Yeah. And I was just, and I found any time that I could to find an escape. Yeah. And I was like listening to good music and just like sometimes instrumental stuff. And it was just kind of getting me in the zone and keeping me grounded. Yeah. Because I just knew that I was like, man, this ain't the final spot. I already know that. Yeah. But we got to get out of here. Yeah. So that was my escape. And, that in that process, I was drawing those things, and then I was sitting on them. They were sitting in my sketch pad for that long, and then I got back to them. I tried again in 16 to draw one of the first ones, the first one in that series, and then I tried again later because I was sitting on that too. It was painted, like halfway painted, and I did it during the live painting event, and it was very inspirational at the time, like the vibes I was getting, just to get that far in the creation process. I got farther than I thought I would, but then I've been sitting on that. So there's a older version of that piece on the side, but then the finished one is actually still up, and that went into the art show that happened recently. Okay. So yeah, but that one was a lot shorter because I was already in the zone, and I was like trying to also reach that deadline, but I also knew kind of where I was going with the colors. Yeah. And I just kind of did a variation or like a branch off of that. Okay. So there's like some mistakes in between, not mistakes, but
we can't.
There's
we can't see it.
No, not mistakes, but I mean like I guess just some things along the way where I kind of had to change my mind, or like it took me a while to get to. So as far as the length of time it takes to finish it, it's not necessarily about application, but just finding a solution. Because sometimes I'll just sit on it for a little bit and like leave some gaps in between.
So that goes into my next question. So like when how you know something's finished is just based off of like application, like knowing, being strategic about like knowing.
Well, there's a time where I'm done.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes it feels like there's maybe like one small thing that I want to do differently, but I decide that it's okay and I can live with it.
Yeah.
I can only account for a few pieces where I'm like, okay, no, there's nothing else I want to do to this. So, but it's very far and few in between. But when I get there, it's like I'm satisfied with it. That's the best way I can put it. Yeah,
I feel that. Yeah, because sometimes I think it's like I do a lot of like graphic design, but not like anywhere on your level. You shitting on me.
Oh no,
shitting on me. But like in terms
I know people
of like
I look up to too, and that's right next to me. People like saying the same thing.
Yeah, like I do like flyers sometimes, and like create like just like social media content.
Yeah.
So a lot of times with that, I'm just like pretty much. Sometimes I'll create something like I'll come back to that later. And then other times I'm like I know in an instant like I accomplished what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
So you filled out the idea. You had said something earlier just about like when you were drawing this piece, it was a very emotional time.
Yeah.
Like struggling through a job. Can you just talk about like staying motivated? Like how do you stay motivated as an artist?
You have to find the thing that gets you there every time, cause. And that may change over time. Like for me right now, I'm in an interesting place in my life. So it's, very scary because I'm transitioning into just, I have been doing the full-time art thing for a minute.
Yeah.
And just so many things are different now. And just different struggles kind of come up and anxiety comes with that. But sometimes you have to find a new thing. So for me, like or get back to what you used to do,
right?
Or whatever you used to do in order to prevent those things from happening. Like remember how you were successful in other situations where you struggled, whether it's money management or for me, like getting back to just writing down my budgets again, because now it's more important than ever. Before you're waiting on a check, but now it's like you never know where your next thing can come.
Redeemed from the curse of the law.
I know that.
You know your Bible.
You should get this. A, Galatians 2:20. B, John 19:30.
It's
and
A.
C, yes, it's A. I sound like you know Galatians. As much as Uncle Paul talk about crucified with Christ, as much as Uncle Paul talk about crucified with Christ, you should know that. You should know that.
I reign in life through Jesus Christ.
I know that. Go ahead. What's that? It's a 30-second, ain't it?
It's 15 seconds.
I know that.
I'm trying to figure out if I know that.
Come on.
Okay. A, 2 Corinthians 5:21. B, 1 Corinthians 2:9. No, 1 Peter 2:9. C, Romans 5:17. Remember your righteousness. It's C?
Yep.
Oh, it's
That's
C.
just Prince verse. No, that's the staple of our transformation into grace.
Reign in life.
Yeah, reign in life through Jesus Christ.
But being motivated is, for me, is like finding that right song that's getting me there. Like I feel like, I got this. Yeah. And I'm like, you in the car, you driving, you start changing your posture up a little bit. That's when you found that thing to get you there. Cause that happened to me even today. Cause I'm like, man, my day is not going okay right now. Like everything is like kind of out of place a little bit. And I'm like catching everything late. So just finding your place again, finding what, reminding yourself of who you are.
Facts.
And the things you do. And so like even just recalling those situations that you've been through before where you're like, man, I know it's bad, but I'm gonna worry about today.
Right.
And then I'm gonna get to tomorrow when they get there.
Yeah.
So that's been my message for the past few months. Like we gonna get there when we get there.
Right.
And you can't do nothing about later, but right now you can. So just you gotta take a nap. Just think on
very
it.
Powerful.
Sit on it. Yeah.
And then sometimes like with me too, I think about like knowing like today for me, like coming before here is like a lot of like little shit just like bother me, and I'm just like, okay, you gotta remind yourself who you are, and then you also gotta realize too, like when you might be going through warfare. Like just like like you're on your way to something, and just like this is just trying to get you off. Like I had these interviews today.
Listen, hey, that's what I've been saying. I put this on Twitter. I was like, and it's so hard for me to articulate, but you see what I'm saying, because when I tell you, I know there's some things that's like big that I've been sitting on for years that are finally coming out that I've been working on. Yeah. And there's like little things, like even just trying to log into a website. Yeah. And for some reason you can't even log in. It's just sitting there. Like I got stuck on a wheel, or like it just wouldn't send me a confirmation code to get like into, my email or just, and when I tell you I'm a writer, like when I'm finally motivated to like do the legwork and do the work to finalize things to get to that step where, we're about to release this thing, we're about to publish this thing, or we're about to put out this project. Right. It's the smallest things, and I know it's like some spiritual stuff, like it's like some warfare going on, and I'm just trying to, I'm like, all right, we're gonna sit back a minute, we're gonna do it again, I'm gonna just try it again. Right. Because I'm telling you, it's so many things, like small things that be coming up that never happened before I'm about to do that big thing that I'm trying to do. Right. I'm telling you, it's not gonna be stopped. Right. Like you can't stop it. Yeah. It's gonna. And that's
how I felt about today too. Like literally coming here is dealing with little shit, and then I'm like, it's because I got content today. I'm like, God bless. Like it's literally somebody ran me off the road. Like really? Like coming down here, some young dude like literally trying to squeeze into a lane and ran me off the road, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get back. I don't have a gun. So I can't pull up I can't knock on my window like, you see this? Like I can't do that. I don't have a gun. I don't know if they have a gun.
Then I ended up getting a knife on you. We start with that. We start small, we work our way up.
And then I pulled up on the guy. I'm like, this is some young kid. I'm like, I could have scared him. Like I still could have did it. I could have scared him. But little stuff like that, and just realize I'm just like, okay, you're shooting content today. You don't get to shoot content in bulk like you want to today. Like you gotta sometimes like refocus your energy. I cut on that song, like you're saying, cut on that song to get your mind off of whatever it is that I was going through, and it's like pushing through that. So I definitely attest to that a lot. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, so you did Art Pop Gallery, right? That was a big thing, and then it also turned an opportunity for a billboard. Could you talk about the Art Pop Gallery and then just the opportunity to be able to get your work on a billboard? What that was like?
Right. So Art Pop Street Gallery is the whole, they promote artists through billboards and all kind of digital, I was about to say software. I mean like digital billboards and all kind of ads in different outlets, newsstands, everything. So it's been a really interesting, surreal experience, just seeing it in person. But like leading up to it, it's always that one moment where you like, I don't know if I should do this. I literally had like enough money in my account with a little bit left over to pay for the application for it. So I was broke. And
so it was an application to get to.
It's an application also. Okay, and it's like $35. Okay. But that's all I had at the time. And I'm waiting, my check come next week. Week. So I already got paid and I paid my bills, and I'm like, this application coming up, I got about, $40. Man,
that's what up for artists,
All right, let's do it. Cool. So I'm gonna do it, whatever happened. And that's how I've been approaching a lot of the situations from like any kind of application from then on. I was like, I mean, what they gonna do? Say no? Yeah. That's it. That's all you got. So if not, I'm gonna find out why. And what I did is I did my research beforehand. I reached out to people who had won before, and I wanted to find out like, what do you do in order, like, what comes with a winning piece? Like, how do you get your piece admitted into into Art Pop? And so some people gave me some advice on the work that I was working on. It started out, I was teaching at Lorien Academy. They're a summer school academy where they teach art specific things, so you can learn painting, design, and anything else. So I was teaching design at the time. Yeah. And there was like it's like a fundraiser that they were doing for for the organization, and we had to create a piece that reflected us. So the piece that I made, I donated that, and it was auctioned off into the event, And when I made it, I really liked it. It represented Charlotte.
Yeah.
So, and again, that goes back into my work. A lot of it's based on where I'm from, or just pride in where I am and who I am and being different. So, I took that and I wanted to use that for my submission. Turned it into an illustration. It started as a painting, and then I illustrated it on like Procreate on the on the iPad, and I added like more things to it. I made it bigger and like more stuff. So the guy who gave me advice on it, he was like, yeah, you should definitely add more color. Like just go hard. So I added more stuff to it and vamped it up, and then gave my last little bit of money towards it.
That's crazy.
And when I got the call from Wendy, she was like, hey, I just want to let you know that you've been you've been juried in. And I was like, so juried in is in like runner up, or what does that mean? And she's like, oh no, I'm calling to tell you you won. Oh, wow. And it like my heart just sunk into my stomach. I was just I didn't know how to feel, and I told my friends and everybody. Like I called my mom, and it was emotional. So it was cool to just like me giving the last little bit of everything I had.
That's crazy. And then it flipped.
Yeah, and it flipped, and then all stuff started happening. So, and around that time, more things started happening. Around the same time, like so, it was fall time. So like around September, October, where I put in the application for it. I think, or around the time where they tell you if you won or not. Around that time, I got hit up by a coffee shop, Enderley Coffee Company. Yeah. And they wanted to do like a year-long like residency, or like a thing where I just had my work up, and then so I had my artwork in the store for the first time, like in that place, and then I sold one of those new pieces. Yeah. I was in that transition, me creating the work leading up to that point. Yeah. I made so much work. I had never painted that much in my life since college. That's crazy. It was almost like 6 different pieces, but they were large scale pieces, and I had to fill up the space for the coffee shop. But it was the struggle of finding it in myself, like to have that motivation, like you have it, and to know that. And it took so much out of me, but like I gave it everything I had. I'm painting like all day, every day. Yeah. Up until that time, and even like having the money to get the material. So it's all that happening at one time. Not even having the money for the application for that, and then turn around for this other opportunity where I needed materials for just creating the work to be put into a new place, because I didn't want to come with my old artwork. Yeah. And I knew that from the jump. I knew there was a style that I was trying to put out in a new phase of work that I was like, I'm growing out of, not growing out of things, but it's like a new mode. Like I'm breaking that mold, and I had to just push to get that stuff out there. So that happened too, and then finally getting that work out. Just finally getting the funds to do that, and then even in that situation, getting I had a deal with the owner where we made coffee mugs. It was a collaborative thing. That same design, I used a design from that was on the Art Pop billboard. Oh, wow. And then shortly after, like the following year, like in like maybe February, March, where we had mugs with the same design on it, but with a twist with the coffee shop in there on the design. Yeah. So that's like our exclusive thing. And just like selling mugs with the artwork on it. Yeah. And then like it feels like a whole deal of like, okay, all these things are happening based on this one thing.
Moment. Yeah. Yeah. That's so crazy. That's really inspirational at that too. Just like believing in yourself enough to be able to bet on yourself, and then a whole bunch of things tumultuously follow after that are good for you. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. That's wild. The last question that I have for you is just kind of just talk about your plans for the rest of the year. Like you had the art pop, your things are rolling out. Just talk about what you have planned for the rest of the year.
Well, I think right now I'm in a place of like needing like that restoration that I feel like I've given so much. So it's a point where I have to recoup. There are moments though where I started to kind of get that burst of creativity again. So I've been going for that. So wherever I feel it again, I just put it out. But right now it's more of a thing where I'm kind of holding on to what I have. Okay. And anything that I've started working on or things that are on the way to being made, I'm still like creating that behind the scenes. And instead of trying to create new projects, like working on any type of product or any type of thing. So like, for example, I'm working on a collection and I can't wait to release it, but I feel like I'm not ready yet, but I want to just getting the whole team together like at the same time and really pushing it out the right way it's supposed to be. So I have no problem waiting. I'm very patient. Like I'll move my pieces where they need to be, and I'll set it up to where I'm very diligent. So I'm gonna wait it out. But in terms of like any new like events or shows, I usually do something called the Big Crafty.
Okay.
That's like one thing that's always been in place. So that's what I'm saying about any kind of new thing.
Right.
It's usually things like whatever I've been doing now, whether it's me working on my children's books, or me working on.
You got children's books. What's up?
Yeah, so it's called One Valley Studios.
Okay.
And that's the thing I was telling you, where the little things start happening along the way.
Yeah.
Where little interruptions of you trying to release something, and that was one thing that I released.
Right.
Where we're gonna also do like a crowdfunding thing. So we're almost done with everything. We just want to do the crowdfunding and kind of like build up like pre-orders and stuff to fund the book being released. So it's done. The book is done. Our first book is done. And we want to pull a Dr. Seuss. We're just gonna keep pulling them out. So those are things that I'm working on right now, like in the back behind the scenes. Yeah. But also just even like with art stuff, I want to work on my own solo show, but that's also. It's like in the back, but I'm also working on comics, like comic books with me and my partner. We've been doing that for a while, and it's like a black superhero thing, and then other stories too. So we're just working on stuff all the time and
staying busy. Yeah,
and I guess the other thing I was getting at was I guess in the future. Oh yeah, in Asheville. So the Big Crafty is something I do almost every year, every other year. It's like tons of vendors and stuff. Okay. And a craft show, like very handy stuff, or very knick-knacky. Yeah. I don't want to.
And all that stuff is like applications too. Like you have to put in an application to get.
Yeah, you put in an application again.
I didn't know. I thought people get invited.
Now sometimes they do, and but you still it's still important to like apply and then just to get that feedback on if you can do it or not. But yeah, it's it's a really cool show. They do it in around like July, in the middle of July, and then later on in Christmas time, and they pack out the imagine being in like Bobcats Arena or something. Okay. But like inside the whole arena, you have tables.
Oh wow.
Set up like even around the concessions area in the top, and then in the lower floor. Yeah. With the where if there's an event happening, there's vendors there too, so it looks like a comic convention, like Comic Con or something. Okay. But just for like very crafty stuff, so it's a lot of cool stuff out there.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So if you would just give people your @ name, your Instagram, website, where they can go find you and buy your work.
Okay, so I'll give two things. JoshHendersonArt.com is where you would find my work. You can also look at my Instagram, where you can see all the stuff that's happening. Is What Is Relax, WHATISRELAX, and that's pretty much the gist of it. You can find everything else. It kind of branches off from there. So yeah.
I appreciate you coming in, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So this was another episode of Walk with Drew. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I did. I learned a lot about the process and just what being an artist is like. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and get this video out to all your friends. And until next time, see you guys later. Peace.